Good afternoon, Winthrop, and welcome to the July 2014 Supporting the Troops program. I'm here today. We've got a special guest, Francisco Urena, the veteran agent for the city of Boston. Francisco Urena?
Yes.
How did I do?
You perfectly nailed it.
All right,
Wow,
welcome aboard,
great.
welcome aboard. And we have my regular co-host over here, Richard Gay.
Hi, how are you?
And,
Antonio, nice to see you.
Francisco.
Good for you,
Pleasure.
Francisco.
And we're going to do a little update on a couple of things. We got a few letters, and we're going to see if Mike was able to find the pictures that we were going to post of my grandchildren. You know, when it's your own TV show, people say, "How come you have your grandkids on there?" And I said, "Well, when you have your own TV show, you know, because I have pictures of my wife during our anniversary, then I have pictures of Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Africa, Turkey."
Remember, you used to have your mother on all the time. Remember
Yeah,
pictures of your mother
yeah.
when
My
she was
mother was going to
alive?
be almost 100. She'd love to see herself
Oh,
on
that's
TV.
great. Absolutely.
But before we get talking to Francisco, I just want to give a couple of little updates. We were planning on having another guest here, Bud Dacey. Remember you met Bud
Yes,
on
of
the
course.
on the honor flight.
Yes.
And Bud, many of you know Bud. You'll get a kick out of this. So, Bud is a World War II veteran, D-Day veteran, and Bud continues today to be a very strong veterans advocate. He goes around to schools and community groups with he calls it D-Day in a box, I
Yes.
think. And so he's got this little setup of what it looks like, what it looked like on D-Day. And so he was going to be here, and he was also on the honor flight. Is that what it was called? The honor flight was where they took 65 World War II veterans from Boston, and they got them over to the airport at 5 a.m.,
Absolutely.
flew them down to Washington, D.C., and took them to the World War II Memorial,
Yes.
right? And then got them all home and in bed that night.
Absolutely. We came in. So it was a little more than that. So obviously we got to the airport at 5, and there were veterans from all over Massachusetts and New England. There were veterans from western part of the state who started their day at 2 o'clock in the morning to be able to be at Boston by 5. And we flew out to Boston. We flew out from Boston to Washington, went to the World War II Memorial, went to the Vietnam and Korea Memorial. Then we traveled to the Air Force Memorial, the Marine Corps Memorial, the Navy Memorial, and then we had a small barbecue over at
I would have been asleep by
at
now.
an American Legion post. Now, to
They
most
must
of
have all
these
been
men,
exhausted.
all
Yeah,
these
well,
men and some women
Yeah.
who are in their average age of 90,
Yeah, I
they
know.
had a great time. There was not a tired eye,
Is that
not a
right?
frown, all smiles all day until we got to Boston at about 11 p.m.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
must
that's
have been sleeping
incredible.
on the airplane, though.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I would have been myself.
The
That's a
honor flight
great
program
day,
does
though.
it right. They had scheduled breaks in between where and they served lunch on the bus, so
Yeah.
folks had their opportunity to rest and be out
Yeah.
of the elements. But
Yeah,
It
nonetheless,
was great to do that for those guys.
absolutely.
Well,
That is,
what I'm
really
saying
is.
about Bud is Bud was going to be a guest on the show here today, and he comes into the shop and he says, "Whoa, Rich, is the show today?" And I said, "Yeah, it is, Bud. But, you know, listen, why, what's the matter?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm just really wiped out. I had a really rough weekend. I was up in New Hampshire." And I said, "Why, what happened?" And he goes, I was ziplining. Do you know how old Bud is?
He's must be
90, he's gotta be
89.
89.
Wow.
I was ziplining.
Zip lining.
I said, "You were ziplining?"
Yeah.
Ziplining's where you sit in kind of a seat contraption and you run down between trees or down a mountainside.
Oh, so you sit and it wasn't
Well,
like
they
you
have
held
places,
on.
right?
'cause,
They
yeah,
have some type
I'm
of
sure
a
you
harness
couldn't.
that
Yeah,
they
so,
put you in. Then,
yeah.
but 89, and someone said to him, "Bud, I think you're the oldest person to ever zip line in New Hampshire. 89 years old and zip lining."
God bless him.
And then he said he was supposed to work tonight, and he was having. I said, "You're supposed to work tonight?" God, I just retired. I was hoping by the time I hit
I know, what is
89, I would be out of Woodside Hardware completely.
Now, what does he do?
He
You know?
works at a health club.
Does he really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah. And so I said, "No, but we'll have you on another time, and not to worry." But I said, "Wow."
Wow.
And
Well, anybody ziplining must be the epitome of health. How's that?
Yeah.
yeah,
He
well,
seems
he
pretty
is.
healthy.
He
Yeah,
is.
it does.
He was playing hockey up to a couple of years
Wow.
ago, and Yeah, he's quite a character.
When was that flight? What was that?
That was
just-
May 18th.
May. In May. Okay.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about that, this honor flight.
That is
Who
a
paid
great
for
thing.
that?
So the honor flight was actually sponsored by multiple companies. MedVR is a medical company. They do some sort of a three-dimensional demonstrations programming for the military. So they decided to sponsor this flight. And previous flights have been sponsored by different companies. The Honor Flight New England is a phenomenal nonprofit. They register and I inquire and I really ask all World War II veterans that are here in the Winthrop community to please see how you could find an application for the Honor Flight New England. They send you to Washington to see your memorial at no cost to the veteran. Now, if you are not a World War II veteran and if you want to be part of this, I also encourage you to put in an application. You pay a $400 fee to escort a World War II veteran, and you are their escort for the whole day.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I
So
heard that
for
too.
the
Somebody was
aspect-
saying they
Wow,
did
I'm
that.
looking for something
yeah,
to do.
sure.
My wife would be happy.
That'd be great, though. It's 400's not that bad.
It is not, and I
Really?
tell you,
Yeah.
there's no better way to see Washington because it's not just.
Oh, I would love that. 'cause
It's not just get on a charter bus. It's get on a charter bus that has a police escort that zips you through the traffic in Washington. And for those of you all who have been to Washington, know it is not easy.
No, that's
Trust
true,
me.
too.
I
Right,
went to
right. Oh, yeah.
Washington after that trip 2 other times, and I wish I was had the same escort that we did because crossing that beltway, and we're just cruising, and there's a police officer moving folks left and right out of your way to get those 3 tour buses.
Yeah,
at
Richard,
that
that's not a
time.
bad idea to get involved in that
Sure.
for
Yeah,
the 400
yeah,
bucks.
so- yeah, I'm retired now. I just retired
Oh,
from my,
congratulations.
I just retired from my sign company. My nephew Matthew was taken over after 43 years. Matter of fact, I started this company right after I came back from Vietnam.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Selling on the street, you had a stand on the street corner or something you were selling? Remember Jane was talking about you
oh no,
brought
I
the
used to go to the
trunks.
Boston Flea Market before Quincy Market in Faneuil
But didn't
Hall.
you sell trunks that you made?
Yeah, I
and stuff,
used
that
to
wooden
decorate
things?
hope chests and.
She still has that. Thing's in one of our rooms.
Oh yeah,
One
she
of
has
yours.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
You-
yeah.
You're the one that told us that's mine, you said.
Oh
I had
yeah.
it.
But yeah, so now it's funny when you retire. I have less time to get stuff done now.
Really? How's
I
that
woke up
happen?
this morning. I still haven't got half the stuff I wanted to get done today.
Oh.
And I didn't even have to work.
Well, in between all your early morning photo shoots, yeah,
I know.
that probably takes up a lot of your time.
Well, no, I was late this morning. I didn't get up till 3:45. Threw my whole day out of whack.
Oh.
Ah, that's terrible.
But yeah, so this honor flight, boy, that sounds pretty interesting. I would love to assist someone to get him down there, and but I'll talk to you more
Absolutely,
about that.
that'd be
Yeah,
great.
most of those people are nice guys too,
Oh.
you know, that want to go down there. It's not
Absolutely.
like you'd struggle with anybody. They'd
No,
all be a
no.
lot of fun.
Absolutely. So it is a great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go on my next honor flight to escort another veteran. The feeling that you have to
Yeah.
hear those stories, see those pictures that they bring,
Oh, yeah,
to
definitely.
read some of their letters, and we're in the room of company of heroes.
Yeah.
Of course.
65 of them this trip that I went on, and no better place to be, I tell you. Anybody else would have been, just to see their attitudes,
Yeah.
a smile. For many of them, they've been wanting to go see their monuments ever since the monuments have been
Right, that's true. A lot of them never
constructed.
got a chance to go
Sure.
down there.
And it is a great feeling to be with them, to share this day. And Honor Flight New England does it right. And so if
Okay.
you want to also be part of sponsoring a flight or sponsoring a veteran, there's also an opportunity to do that. So
Yeah.
I think I'm encouraging folks that are watching to please see how you can make a difference in a World War II veteran's life. And if you think about it, these men are in their late 80s,
Oh,
early
yeah,
90s.
yeah.
We don't have much time to make a difference.
No, that's for sure.
We're the next group. You know, we were all the young 20-year-olders,
I
and
know it.
now we're all pushing 70.
We are.
And our time will come when we're that old. But listen, before we go on, I just want to give a couple of updates on a couple of some of our soldiers and some of our local guys who were moving up through the ranks. Joe Cordes, United States Marine Corps, just got home last month from Afghanistan. That was his.
Yeah, he's been there quite a amount.
Yeah, I don't know if he
times.
did Iraq and 2 trips to
Yeah.
Afghanistan, but it was interesting. I was speaking to a 4th grade class I told you I was at a.
Yes.
And so they had written letters, and so we had all the kids sitting there, and they took turns reading their letters. And I had a letter from Joe Cordes, and he said he had turned 21 over there. And I said, do you know when I started this program with the care packages, I said he was sitting in this classroom.
Wow.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
He
Imagine
was
that.
sitting
Yeah,
in this
look at that.
classroom. So for these kids, I said, you don't think you're ever going to grow up? I said, he's not only sat in this classroom, grown up, he's been in the Marines for 3 or 4 years,
Wow.
if not longer, and he has done 2 or 3 tours
Yeah, and you could
in
have
the
influenced
in
him
the Middle
into
East.
joining
Yeah,
too. you know.
and here he is already getting out of the Marines, you know.
Yeah.
But he just got out last week. He's going to, I think, Suffolk Law School. I don't know if he's going for law school, but that's
Oh,
where he's
good for
going.
him. That's the right
Sure.
thing to
Yeah.
do.
Absolutely.
And then I wanted to congratulate Senior Chief Petty Officer,
Yes.
is that right? Who is Brian Petty, who's been promoted. Brian is actually on duty over at the USS Constitution, and he was just promoted to Senior Chief Petty Officer. And also, probably a bigger thing in his life than actually being promoted to Senior Chief Petty Officer is he has a brand new baby girl at
Oh.
home, Sophia.
That's his
Brian
third daughter
and-
now, right?
Yeah, Brian and his wife. Yeah, so they're his other 2 daughters, Bella and Victoria, sang at our Memorial Day services.
Excellent.
Yeah, and
Now, isn't the Constitution going in for repairs
yeah,
for a couple
it's
of
going
years?
to
Yes, this
multi.
fall.
Yeah, so
yeah.
what,
This
do they,
fall.
what would you think they'll probably have to find something else for him to do?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. All those sailors are going to stay. The
They'll stay
U.S.
on that?
Constitution is a living history, so
Right.
that they don't actually live on the ship. They go out on the ship while is there, and the ship will still be open for tours.
It will be, okay. I
Because
thought they would send
a
them
lot of the
out.
work is going on in the hull. You would know better
Yeah.
because this is a woodworking
Yeah.
ship. And one of the great things that I heard during the last storm, not this hurricane that went down, there was a last storm that came down by the southeastern part of the state where a lot of this timber that
Yeah.
they use for the ship, which is now protected federally because of was knocked down by the storm.
Oh,
So
really?
they locked out. They got some of this virgin timber.
Is
There
that
is
right?
coming up to
Oh, good
New
for them
England
then.
specifically for the
And
Constitution.
they actually also found a lot of timber that was buried like 100 years ago when they were building the Spalding Rehab Center.
Mm.
I don't know if they used to bury it on purpose or what, but it was the same type of that live
Really?
oak.
They must have used it for plankways and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and just didn't want
it's
to
a
pull it
particular
up.
type of wood, but it's interesting that the wood is marked. It's almost like when the British came over,
Yeah.
and the British went around and they
Sure.
marked the trees.
Absolutely.
And it was the kings.
Yes.
And you couldn't cut those trees down. It was
Right,
only
right.
for.
Wow.
But anyway, so Brian's been on there. His wife Sarah was actually in the Navy when she met Brian.
I
So
didn't
now
know
they
that.
have 3 children, and like I say, I'd probably have to say his new baby Sophia was probably a bigger occasion than being promoted. Or at least he better say that to his wife.
Yeah, good for him.
Great timing.
And then I just want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank Sue Gray and the Rebecca Lodge 153 for a very, very, very generous donation. People ask me, they say, how do you run this program? Where do you get all the money for the food and stuff? Most of the time, all I have to do is just think I want something. I need peanut butter crackers. I need postage. I have groups like the Elks, the Rebecca Lodge, individuals that help me financially. I mean, we're well up over $70,000 just for postage.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've sent about a little over 15 tons, 31,000 pounds of
Wow.
stuff since I started doing this. And so I want to thank the Rebecca Lodge very much for their generous donation. Also, Winthrop Emblem Club, who is there every single month with either goods, and they usually give me a check for $25 to help with postage. And also from the Winthrop Elks members, and Sharon Lee Bolger, who organized kind of a donation night, and people brought stuff in.
At the Elks?
Yeah.
She's from
like
the Elks does so
groceries.
much, though.
Huh?
The Elks does do a lot.
Yeah.
All of those people do.
Yeah.
The Elks always seem to.
But I have to thank
muster up
Sharon
like
Lee.
that.
So it almost filled my pickup truck with goods, and so I want to thank those individuals.
Richard, are you leaving the stuff at the shop still? All your
They
donations?
gave me a space
Did they?
downstairs. Yeah.
Is it getting smaller?
Yeah.
Pretty
Well, I had
soon.
to.
He
Actually,
really-
half of my
yeah,
upstairs
that
of
was
my
so
shop
bad.
was like a supermarket, but no one could say
That's
anything.
what Matt said. Matt
And the
said,
other half
"What is he gonna
downstairs,
do
I
with
was
this?"
usually building a boat.
Now they don't know what to do
now-
with
now
all the
they
room.
actually
A
get rid
real
of-
sign shop.
Plus, I have all these units, and I probably have 50 flags that were flown on combat missions, carried on combat
Yeah, I
missions,
know. And you're gonna have to start
citations,
using those, too.
plaques, and so I just have this whole wall, all these counters covered, and now they have to move them all.
Shame.
And but anyway, so I think what we're going to do now is we're going to talk to you, Francisco, and Francisco, and now we originally met not through our association helping active duty soldiers and Marines and sailors, but through boating.
Absolutely.
On Facebook, I was in the Snow Row, which is down in Hull, and late February, early March every year, and it's actually named after Winthrop's Edward Rowe Snow. It's not the fact that it's held in February and it's snowing, although it has many times. But I was rowing in my boat, the William and Anthony, and you were paddling in
Yes. Surf ski.
a surf ski.
Yes.
And so the Hull Snow Row is just short of 4 miles.
But why
around.
is it in that cold weather though? If it's
They row all winter.
so why is that one on that date? Is there a
It's
certain
just
date?
it's something traditional.
So
They
snow
ha-
has nothing to do with the. That's
no,
I would
it's,
always
like I say,
like
the
you
name
said, yeah.
comes from Edward Rowe Snow,
Oh.
who was a historian who wrote about Boston Harbor and the islands, and it's not about the fact that it could
No,
snow.
you always show that picture of you
Yes.
rowing in the ice.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
what
the
makes me
first year
think-
we went down there was so much
I always
ice.
would
It was
think of that.
icebergs, and people in Florida say, "You people are crazy." and but I enjoy winter rowing, and so you do paddling. And so I mentioned, well, we do the Essex River race, which is 6 miles, and then I was talking about doing
What's
the
paddling? Like what is
well,
that? then?
more like a paddling,
a
like
paddle with
Oh, all right,
yeah.
like
But
kayak.
tell what it
Kayak,
is.
sure.
yeah.
Oh, all
Tell
right.
what
So
you
a
are.
surf ski is an ocean racing kayak. Is it is a 22-foot long boat. They weigh anywhere from 22 to 26 pounds. So extremely light.
Extremely light.
Oh, no,
material.
I've seen those. at
They're
the road,
meant
yeah.
to go fast.
Very fast, yeah.
And tell you, we had a great weekend this year. We're all preparing our New England series here. Are preparing for the Blackburn, which is another sister race of the
Essex.
River.
And that's
that is 19 miles. Goes on around Cape Ann. It circumnavigates Cape Ann
wow.
on a clockwise motion, starting
Open
and ending.
ocean.
Starting and ending
Wow.
on the Onasquam.
yeah.
Really? And you by yourself on these?
Yes, it's a
Okay,
solo
wow,
race.
okay.
There's a lot of support, and it is a fundraiser as well for charities within the community
Yeah,
in
no, that
Gloucester.
seems like a lot of fun too, and a
That's
boat
my
race
goal.
that can
Sure.
actually go fast too. You
Sure.
can really pick up some speed. on those
Absolutely.
things.
So, but it's open to all types of crafts. not
It's
just
open
surf
to
ski.
like the boat I have,
Sure.
so but mine's a little too slow. So I just finished building a boat, but my next boat is going to be an 18-foot, 2-person
Oh,
rowing boat,
Okay.
specifically built for that race.
Oh,
Great.
really?
Because well, it's going to take me probably a year to build it.
Yeah.
Then I'll be pushing 68, and I want to do this before I turn 70.
Look at that.
So my daughter just ran the Boston Marathon. That was a goal of hers, and she's got many more marathons in her. But my goal is to do that Blackburn
Oh.
Challenge. And the boat, my rowboat that I have now, just isn't fast enough. I mean, so I'm going to build
Sure.
something long and sleek. Not as long and sleek.
Yeah.
Well, tell them about the longest race, the one you did in Hawaii.
That was the Molokai. That was my big race of my lifetime. That was last year, and that was 36 miles.
Really?
It
Wow.
crossed from one island to another in Hawaii,
Wow, nice.
crossing the Molokai Channel. From the
Yeah.
Molokai and the island of Molokai to Oahu, where Waikiki Beach is.
Yeah.
Open ocean, solo. Granted, there were other paddlers in the water, but we could be as far as you and I, in a sense.
Yeah.
And the ocean is so big that I can't see you because a wave could come through us and I won't see you.
Is that right?
It's an intense place,
Oh.
but it was a fun time. It was really fun training for that because that happens in May.
What's the significance of that race now?
That is the World Surf Ski Championships, the world kind of the kayaks that we paddle.
Really? Wow.
Their championships for and it
Did you
happens
bring your
every
own
year.
kayak to that?
No, you rent one.
Chartered one.
Chartered one in Hawaii. There are various outfits that do that, and now they do that crossing every month. Some different group, whether
really?
surf skis, whether it's a 6-man outrigger, whether it's a stand-up paddleboard, which could be a long time on the water. And nonetheless, the conditions in Hawaii are unfound here in New England. So training for that race from an East Coast perspective, it makes it extremely challenging. Not
Really?
only that it happens in May, so by that time you have to be able to paddle 36 miles.
Yeah.
So where do you
Where
find...
did you train? It's kind of like
Sure.
the Boston Marathon when it's a snowy
Sure.
year. Where do you train?
Sure.
You can't run in the snow, but if you want to run in the race.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. My
So where did you train?
My longest training happened here in Winthrop. I went from Urena Beach all the way to Beverly and back. And I was able
really?
to, yeah.
And how far was that?
That was about 30 miles. So...
What month was that now?
and that happened in April.
In April.
So
Yeah,
we
so
got
it's
lucky.
pretty cold
We got
too in
lucky
April.
last year that it was a warm start
yeah.
to the season.
Yeah, because this year
this
it was awful.
oh, this year has thrown so many folks off because even runners have the same challenge
yeah.
this
I
year.
betcha.
But it was fun nonetheless. And I tell you, it's nothing like being on the water. I think for folks in our kind of profession where we're helping people, it's so therapeutic.
It
You come
is.
off the
Oh,
water, you're
please.
ready to help the next
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, remember,
you're right.
yesterday, so I have this brand new sailboat.
Uh-huh.
You'll like this. So I have this brand new sailboat I just built, 16 foot long, very traditional, gaff rigged, is different from your jet ski.
Sure.
I mean, from your, no, I
Surf
don't,
ski.
I'm sorry, the surf ski.
But it goes as fast.
Yeah, yeah. Stop it. Freaking Marines. No, but you'll like this. So yesterday, I was down Euro Beach, and all of a sudden I look over and I see my good friend James Crosby.
Okay.
Now, James Crosby was wounded in Iraq and is paralyzed from the waist down. And so I went over to say hello to him and see how he was doing, and he was working for the Veteran Services, and but he wanted to get away from it, the
Yes.
politics. And he said, you know what I want to do? He says, I want to get in something in the marine trade. He said, I want to do something with boats like my father did. And so I said, you know, it sounds pretty interesting, James, but I'll tell you what. I'm thinking about bringing my new boat down here, which is kind of a challenge to get it down to Euro Beach. I have to bring it through your house. I mean, and so I said, in 2 weeks, I'm going to bring it down here. And now he's paralyzed from the waist down. I said, I'm going to get you in that boat, and we're going to go for a sail. So
Wow.
I said, you willing to try that? And he said, yeah. And so I'm going to take
Yeah,
him. I
give
don't
me a
think he's that-
call and I'll be in town. I'll give you a hand with it.
yeah, and I've got somebody with a, actually with a jet ski,
Sure.
you know, and so.
Oh, that'd be great. James is a great
Yeah,
guy.
I know.
Yeah.
it
I
definitely
know
is
him. We
nice.
started in the. I was in Lawrence when he was with the state,
Wow.
and we met. He was one of the original veterans that started the SAVE program, the program that reaches veterans who are in need of whether it's a quick response.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when they're having mental distress, they're thinking about harming themselves or somebody else. This quick response team goes out to them to ensure that they intercept either the police or something else to talk to the veteran in need. And so
Oh,
James
yeah?
was one of the
Yeah.
first founders
Is that
of this
right?
group.
Wow.
And so he has done a lot, and we miss him. I know that he's here in Winthrop. I drive by his place every time I'm in the area. And he's doing well. We
Yeah.
actually were able, through an organization called Veterans Assisting Veterans, they donated a one of these. They look like a tank type of.
No, that's
wheelchair.
what he was
Yes.
with.
Yeah.
It's a triangular
A tracked
shaped
chair.
track vehicle that he can, in this circle here,
Yeah.
he could turn,
Yeah.
not going to get stuck in the sand. Wide tracks, it's just like
Yeah,
a tank.
sure, yeah.
And he said, Rich, this thing is unbelievable. He said, if I want to stand up,
Sure.
he says, this will support me to
Oh, no
stand
kidding.
up.
I haven't seen that.
And no, I'd
It's
never
a-
seen it before.
It's a great gadget. It's a great tool. Some veterans that are paralyzed in the same way of James could use it to go golfing because the chair will propel them to swing their arms.
Oh, yeah, good for them.
In the
yeah.
sense, or hunting. It has a
that's
it has a rifle
amazing.
rack and
No,
all.
really?
It does.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, because
So-
he gets, he
Yeah.
was getting
Oh,
around,
good for him.
but otherwise he'd never be able to get around that
No.
deep sand. But I said, boy, there's something I can
Yeah.
do with this new boat that I would feel
Absolutely.
great about. So I said, I'm going to coordinate. So what I have to do is I have to sail the boat from Cottage Park down to yours,
And
and
then
then I
go
have a
across the
special
street.
trailer, a special beach trailer that I built for this boat because it weighs almost 300 pounds, so that I can take it from. He lives on the other side of Euro
Ah.
Beach, and so I can take it across and bring it down the beach. And so that's my plan the weekend after next is to get James.
Oh, that'd be
On
great.
a Saturday
Yeah.
or Sunday, is it? Saturday?
I don't know, I'm going to figure it out. I'm
All
gonna
right, let me
come
know.
in.
You got to watch the tides.
Sure.
'cause
Yeah, yeah, that's right. The
Yeah,
tide
the
will be a
tide.
big factor.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm going to do. So Francisco, you were a Marine.
Yes.
Oh, always a Marine. You're still a Marine. We know that whole spiel. and so you say, Rich, what is it with you and the Marines, other than the fact you were in the Army and you know we were better? Is I grew up with 3 brothers in the Marines.
Okay.
Yeah. And they persecute me
Sure.
to this day.
I bet.
You know, one of them has passed away, but my brother Billy is still, even though he just turned 70, he's still waiting to get called back to
Ah.
duty, you know. He still gets together with many of the guys that he served with. Well, the Marines are unusual in the sense of, with the Army, you go through basic training, you split up, you go to particular training,
Sure.
infantry or whatever, artillery, and then you split up again and you go to a unit for a year or 2, and then you split up again. But the Marines, you kind of, I mean, the odds are that many of you will stay together.
For the most
right,
part.
For the
Absolutely.
most
The
part.
Army's like that now, but they weren't during our time.
Sure.
Like
Right,
Richard
yeah.
stuck with his group.
Yeah, for the most part,
Mostly.
the first 6 Marines we went through, I was a tanker by trade. So I went to boot camp with a platoon of 70 men, 70 men. We went through training. 6 of us got selected to go to tank school in Fort Knox, Kentucky. So we went from South Carolina to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And then we went from Fort Knox to California.
Yeah, my son was there.
And
Yeah,
joined the
yeah.
same company.
Yeah,
So in a sense, it really comes up to the need of the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
Not everybody has the
definitely.
same experience. Not all
Right.
the units.
No, but
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
of
of,
course.
you know,
But for the most part, and they also have the buddy system, the buddy team, where 2 young men or young ladies or a cohort can join from the same town and go through their whole career together in a sense. They go to boot camp,
Really?
they go to
Do
the
they-
same
do
MOS.
they really stick
if
to
they,
that?
If they both have the same scores to be able
Okay.
to go
Yeah.
into that trade, absolutely.
really?
And it's just, it makes sense because you
Oh, it
are
does.
serving with somebody you know from your community, from your hometown, and you have that connection, that bond. Now, if you might be sick of that person by the
Right.
time
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you
yeah,
finish
yeah,
boot
yeah.
camp, but
Right.
nonetheless.
No, but the Army would say that they ran something like that, and then you join, and they'd say, you go here, you go there.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
too
You
late.
know, ultimately, it's
Yeah.
the needs of the Marine Corps.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But at the same, talk about camaraderie, and the Marines have a special bond.
Yeah.
Any Marine that knows another Marine, even before they're kind of announced, there's more tradition. We still honor our birthday every November
Yeah,
10th.
yeah.
We
yeah.
celebrate
I
our
have that jammed
birthday.
down my throat all
Sure.
the time.
We
No.
still, we
Now,
go to
the
their-
Army-
we go to their birthday
Sure.
party.
Yeah,
every
we've
year.
actually been to
A number of
Marine
times.
mess nights down in
Sure.
Connecticut.
Yeah, that mess night was
Um,
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't
and
remember
they
the
they
name of it.
actually
Sure.
accept us. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go but and we usually go every year. I go to
Sure.
the Marine Corps
Yeah.
birthday party in Boston. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago when let's see, was it General Conway?
General Conway?
Yeah, was the commandant.
Yes.
And so everyone finished talking. Now you have to understand there's 2,000 or 3,000 men in this place, and the majority of them are Marines. There's a few Army
Sure.
guys like Richard and I. So it ends, and everybody's getting up, wants to get out because 3,000 people
Sure.
trying to get out of this place. So I was standing at the back, and I said, I'm going to shake his hand. Now, he's up on a stage, which is about as high as the ceiling here, and there's about 500 people who want to shake his hand. So I said, you got to move fast, Rich,
Yeah.
and he who hesitates is lost.
Sure.
So I walked right up the front, and I could see there was that group.
Yeah.
He was just coming down the stairs. I said, make your move.
Yeah.
I went right up the stairs, put out my hand, and I said, Richard Honan, I said, I bring greetings from Lieutenant Colonel Tim Grattan from Afghanistan.
Oh,
Wow.
you remembered
And,
him,
Yeah,
huh?
he was
Yeah.
a Marine that I was writing to.
Wow.
And he said, I said, I just want to tell you how much I enjoyed your speech and how much I enjoyed seeing you. I said, I have 3 brothers in the Marines. I said, could I have my picture taken with you?
Yeah.
I took out
You
my
didn't tell him
camera.
you were in the Army, though, did you?
No,
Tell him?
no, he might have seen I had
Yeah.
my 82nd Airborne. And I took out my camera, and he handed it to an aide, and he said, where's my photographer?
Yeah.
So he took a couple of, they took a couple of
they?
pictures with my camera, and then he has a photographer
Yeah.
that just takes pictures all day. And it was so great because none of my brothers ever got within 1
Look at
mile of
that.
the
Sure.
commandant. And if they did, it would have been because they were busted.
No, but it's a great affair. And actually, I assisted. There is a great outfit here. It is the home-based program.
Yeah.
They're starting a Army birthday on June 14th. So I'm definitely going to
Really?
let you
Yeah,
all
really?
know that,
Yeah,
so
let us
you
know.
all
That's,
could be
that'd be
part
a
of
lot
it.
of fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
What day is it?
June 14th. We try to do it on or before
It's
June
Flag Day.
14th, depending on when it falls. I
on
think this
Flag
day,
Day.
it fell on a Saturday, but
Right.
it was on the 13th this year.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
their
that'd be
second
great.
year
Yeah,
doing
they
it.
should do something like
They
that.
started with a small group. This year they had about 200 people, but I think it's growing every year, and it's
Oh,
just a way to
thanks.
start that tradition
that.
as
Yeah.
well with the
Oh,
Army.
yeah,
so-
I'd very much like to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, just to backtrack here, you are what we would call in Winthrop the veteran agent for the
Yes.
city of Boston. And so, what do you have as far as a team? We were talking a little
Sure.
bit about this
So I have
before.
a team of 12.
You have a
in
team
our-
of
in our
12.
office.
Are they, now, how many are assistant veterans
We
agents?
have 4 veterans agents. They handle our 670 cases that we are dealing on a daily basis in our office. Now, remember, Boston has a population of 21,000 veterans
Yeah, that's a
and
lot.
their families within all the neighborhoods. So we have a large responsibility beyond the Chapter 115, which is our supplemental income to be
Yeah.
able to assist veterans and their families in times of need. We also put together events, parades, whether it's Flag Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Pearl Harbor Day, all these other events, anything that probably revolves around an American flag, we have to.
Oh, well, I
Wow.
noticed that. I was
Yeah.
saying to you, I said, every day it seems like, 'cause we stay in touch through Facebook, it seems like every day you are in something to be commemorated, whether it's a day, a place, an occasion, Flag Day, Memorial Day, not just the big holidays,
Absolutely.
but let me ask you, how old are you?
I'm 33.
You're 33. So how did you end up to be a veteran agent? What did you do before?
So I came to Massachusetts at the age of 26. This was in 2006. I was coming out of the Marines. My intents were to go to college out in the Midwest. I was already set up on the GI Bill. Lawrence, if you remember, May of 2006 was underwater, literally. The flood of Mother's Day flood of 06. So I came home, and as a good Marine, I guess I was just surveying the area. I got my bicycle, wanted to check out the area, see what's going on, and I got involved with public access television as a volunteer translating for the public. But Lawrence, it is a community, 75% of Lawrence speaks Spanish. So I was translating the message of where to find showers, where to find emergency
Really?
Your
services.
ethnic background is what?
I am Dominican and Bulgarian.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Dominican. My
Yes.
my son-in-law is Dominican. I'm going to the Dominican
Excellent.
Republic
Congrats.
in the
Yeah.
fall.
You'll
Yeah.
have a great time.
Yeah.
So I learned that there was a Veterans Service Office that was in need of volunteers. So I started volunteering in the Veterans
Yeah,
Service
that's the way
Office.
it happens.
In
Um,
Lawrence?
In Lawrence.
yeah.
6 months later, I was offered the job. So I postponed my plans to go to school in the Midwest. I enrolled in Northern Essex Community College. Then I went to UMass School System. When I finished at UMass School System, I was invited to apply to Boston. to become the Veterans Commissioner who was in need here in the community. And out of all the applicants, I was invited to take the job, and which I've had since 2011. I've
Wow,
been in
good for
Boston,
you.
and so it's been a great time. It's nothing more rewarding than helping a veteran.
Yeah.
And being
that's a saying,
being
yeah,
in
I've
the
seen that.
community of veterans, but also helping widows and widowers in
Yeah.
need, families of veterans, answering questions, anything from replacing your military discharge, your medals, to helping a veteran with a compensation claim,
Yeah.
or helping a veteran get a hand up, whether if in their time of need. And these programs are available, and every city and town has a veteran service office. So if you know of a veteran in need or a family in need, you should call your veteran service agent, which in your town.
Both
Right,
Richard and I
yeah.
can speak firsthand. Both Richard and I served in the 60s and the early 70s in Vietnam. And neither one of us wanted or had anything to do with veterans, the VA, or, right, Rich?
Yeah, it was
I
nobody
mean,
did in
it was
those
a
days
whole
either.
different.
Nobody
It was a whole different
thought
time.
of anything, going to that hospital,
we
anything.
just kind of got out and never looked back.
Yeah.
Never, it was a different time then. But then it comes to over 40 years later, and we've both been. We have gone to the VA, and we've gone for different types of assistance. And so I have to say, as someone who served literally 45 years ago,
Sure.
I'm not even 40 years old. I don't know how this could have happened. But so I served 45 years ago, and approximately 2 or 3 years ago, I asked for help from the VA. And I have to say that they have welcomed me with open arms.
Good.
I cannot emphasize enough to my fellow veterans out there, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, I don't care.
Are you still
I don't-
going to the VA hospital?
Yeah. I can't tell you how helpful everyone is,
Sure.
and whether I deal with Rose, our local veteran agent, or when Larry
Which is a
Holmes.
great person.
Yeah,
Rose is
absolutely.
and she's a great person,
Absolutely, yes.
beside being a
Sure.
veteran agent. And but to tell you, I don't care if you served. I served 45 years ago. If you served 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and you think that maybe you could use some help, I can't urge you enough. You can contact me. I'll put you in touch through Rose. If you thought you even had a claim for something, maybe you fell off a truck, it's not something you even have to do. There are veterans advocates.
Absolutely.
Someone who will take down your information. He's going to work for you. He doesn't get paid. The American Legion has them.
The VFW.
The VFW. These people they'll be like your attorney, right?
Absolutely.
And they'll help you get anything you need. Maybe you just need basic health services. Believe me, if you qualify, the VA will go. I can't say enough, right, Rich?
Yeah.
Sure.
I went for a whole year. I took all different modules. I took the PTSD, anger management, sleep a module, and they kept us in a group, and I had so much fun with this group for that whole year. And,
That's great.
different instructors.
They even
all
helped
the
me
time, but
lose
they were
weight.
great.
I lost 32
Really?
pounds.
Good for you. And I tell you, many veterans are too proud to even approach some of these services.
Yeah,
Right,
really,
right.
we
No,
were.
they are.
We,
You're right.
we don't need
No,
that.
but they
one.
still are now.
And they
A
still
lot
are.
of them
But
don't bother.
what the conversation that always triggers them to really get help, if you really care about the next generation of veterans, why don't you go for services? And
Right, to
because
keep
if
this
you don't
going.
use them,
That's right.
the next generation will lose them.
Right, they
and
won't
that's,
have them.
And that's how
That's
it
a
just
good
is.
idea.
Absolutely.
Because people would come in and join our group and leave, they weren't interested, and that's one of the reasons I was there. He says, you have to give these counselors something to do, and they learn from us. They don't know everything.
Absolutely.
They're right out of college, a lot of them, and just try to help the system.
Definitely is true, but the benefits and services are there for
Yeah.
veterans.
No,
and
they
for
are
many of the
great,
folks
yeah.
that are not veterans, because let's face it, only 7% of Massachusetts are veterans, and only 1% has enlisted since 9/11. So
Right,
imagine,
yeah.
I know, that's unbelievable.
Imagine the
This is-
direction
I
of
know.
veterans in the community.
Yeah.
And so many people wonder why veterans are in need. You go down to Core Street in Boston, you see so many veterans in need. You go down in many cities and you see veterans in need. But it's not for the lack of services. It's just a connection of these benefits and services and getting them to the veteran.
Yeah.
And the veterans themselves want to be helped.
Right, right.
Because if they don't request the help, you could force help all they want,
Yeah.
and nobody's going to take it unless
I
they
know,
want
yeah.
it. But we're very fortunate in the Boston area. We have 3 major hospitals, one in Jamaica Plain, West Roxbury. We also have Brockton a little further away. We also have the Causeway Clinic right in
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
We also have the combat stress kind of counseling for veterans and their families as well, because
Right.
obviously
Yeah.
post-traumatic stress
affects everyone.
the family
It
as
affects
well.
the family.
And so the family is also able to take as many sessions as they need to, and that is located at the Vet Center down at Dry Dock in Boston. And so I welcome you all
Really?
to
I didn't know-
use
never knew
these.
of that
Sure, it's the
one.
Vet
Yeah.
Center, and most of them, and it's a little separate from the VA. All their
Yeah.
records are kept indoor,
Okay.
in-house,
Yeah.
for the purposes of confidentiality. They don't share records, so you don't have to worry if you're in law enforcement or if you're in a field that you think the hospital is going to share that information.
Yeah.
The cases that go on at the Vet Center all stay confidentially locked within the premises of that building. So you have the knowledge that nobody's going to share your records, and whatever conversation you have is going to remain with that counselor. And to many veterans, that's attractive
Yeah.
because for the concerns of their future careers or what they're doing.
There's a stigma.
Sure,
around that.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
But the benefits are there. And again, your veterans agent here in Winthrop Rosie is a great person that can help you navigate those benefits and services.
Right, right.
There's also
That will work for you. It's not like, I mean, if there are forms to be filled out, they will help you fill out the
Absolutely, sure.
forms. So they will fill out the forms. And I mean, I can't emphasize enough, you know, that how great, how much help.
No, but what he said was right too. You have to keep this program going by actually
Sure.
going there
Sure.
and keeping them going.
because
That
only the
makes a
next
lot of sense.
generation that's going to pay.
Yeah.
And I really want to thank the Vietnam veterans because you all really opened the doors for welcoming our generation of veterans in the way that you all weren't welcome back when you all came
Yeah,
home.
Still a
Thank you.
sore subject.
Yeah, thanks.
So-
Will always be a sore
So I
subject.
know that we're wrapping up the show, but on behalf of our Mayor Marty Walsh, I'd like to present to you all our welcome home coins that we give to our veterans when they come back home.
Wow.
So I have one
Oh,
for
thank
you, Richard, as
Thank
well.
you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
I think we're going to
Right.
go another 15 minutes, but
Yeah, we have plenty of time.
because we actually started at 10 past. But yeah, well, hey Mike, were we able to get any pictures? There were no pictures. My God, I can't believe that.
We'll
That's
save them for the next show.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Well,
all right.
let
We'll
me
bring
see-
them on the thumb drive. The
Yeah.
thumb drive is what you got
No,
on.
thank
Yeah.
you for this. I
Sure,
love
absolutely.
these things.
Sure.
No, I'll carry this with
thank
me
you.
too.
Yeah, you do
Oh, this
that.
is from the
So
city of Boston.
Yes, City of
Wow.
Boston.
Yeah, this
Department
isn't
of Veteran
small
Services.
time, Richard.
It
You
has
kidding me?
Mayor's Marty Walsh on it, and it has the 5 branches of service on the back.
Wow.
And so any returning veterans to the Boston area, that if you are the family of that veteran, please let us know, and
Yeah.
we'll welcome a veteran back
Yeah.
with this welcome home coin. That's the message on it. Again, it's a message that you all didn't receive, but we
Yeah.
really want to make sure that you get the welcome that you never
Yeah,
received.
no, these are great.
Yeah, you know, you know, I tell people, I say, I don't think, we'll ever get over that, you know, the way that we were treated back then, you know. Right, wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, you know,
No.
I myself didn't feel it at all. Where I was, I grew up in East Boston. Everybody was a veteran.
Yeah.
My brother was my cousin, this one, that one, and
No, but compared to, I mean,
yeah, I mean, if you went somewhere, you kind of expect that people
Sure.
are ignorant no matter where you go, and
Sure.
for some reason that did not faze me in those days. Yeah, about people that
Mm-hmm.
you know, I never got harassed over it.
Yeah.
If anything, I got treated differently than a lot of my friends because I actually went into Vietnam in 71, 72.
Okay. Wow.
73, they stopped sending people over, so I was like the
last of the call. Wow.
young guy. Yeah, all the guys that went to Vietnam before me in my era were all much older than me.
Sure.
Like, you know, you yourself, and when you're 19, 20, the 25, 26-year-olds are a lot, you know, seems a lot older in those days.
Sure.
yeah, I just know that when you went off, they never announced, like the newspaper would never say,
Oh, yeah, that
Richard
stuff
Honan
there, yeah,
is,
no,
you know,
yeah, no.
or Richard Honan came home. There was,
Sure.
Oh,
it was
please,
just
I know.
kind of,
No, right,
and,
nobody said anything, that's
and
for
then,
sure.
let's see, so I graduated in '66, and within 1 year, 8 of my classmates were dead
Wow.
in Vietnam.
Wow.
And the unit I was in Vietnam, over 200 were killed when I was there. You know,
Wow.
just
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
unit
sure, yeah.
alone. And then to come home and, I don't know, you know.
Have your father yelling at you the second day you're home. That's all I can remember. I was
No,
like,
it's just that nobody, you know,
Just
now
spilled milk on the counter. I still will never forget that day. I was like, all right, Dad, calm down.
But
Those are the way it was in those days.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But as a matter of fact, one thing I want to bring up to a lot of people have asked me. I helped build the Vietnam Veterans Memorial that was in Winthrop High School, which is now being torn down. And
Yeah,
people
yeah.
were concerned about what was happening to that, and I've taken possession of it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what I was
it's a
going to say.
big,
You take it?
It's a big framed thing with a photograph of the Vietnam Wall with a reflection of 3 people looking into it, and then it has the all the people from Winthrop, men from Winthrop who died as the rubbings of their thing from the Vietnam
Right.
Memorial. So I have that at my shop, and I'm going to just spruce it up a little bit so when the school's rebuilt in 2 years, I'm going to reinstall it in the lobby.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
great
Make
So
sure
make-
that they put
make
that in the
space for it.
plans. Yeah, make sure that's in the plans.
Dave Gerard, attention. I know you're on the building
Yeah.
committee.
You're not going to, yeah.
Make
You-
a space
you won't let
for
them
the
forget that.
Vietnam Veterans Memorial, because I'm bringing it back. And I want to congratulate Richard here, who is the new commander of American Legion Post
Yeah,
146.
thank you.
Oh,
Thank-
congratulations.
Quite an honor.
Absolutely.
And
Following his footsteps.
Oh, there you go.
yeah. And I'm going to read a couple of quick letters here. I just got one today. I had to look to see where this one was from the FPO. FPO is for Marines and Navy. And when you get an address from somebody, it never tells where they are. You either get an APO, which is Army Post Office, or like I said, an FPO. So I didn't know where this is from. Lieutenant Commander Nicholas. Let me see. I got his name. So it's just a little short note. Amor. Mr. Honan, I received one of the mini care packages you sent. Mini care packages are 1 quart Ziploc bags, a few toiletries, some candy, and each one of them has a note from me, and a lot of them have notes from these school kids that I have write letters. Now this is it. I mean, this is all you want when you're in
Sure.
the service. You know,
Absolutely.
I just wanted to drop this short note to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to put these packages together and the time to send them over here. They are always welcome, and everyone appreciates that you and the others that send these care this much. God bless you, and God bless America. Lieutenant Commander Nicholas Amor. Now, he's not one of my regular people. I mean, I sent this box with 20 of these. This actually went to Africa,
Wow.
the Horn of Africa, and so it was given, so I might send them to an individual, I might send them to a chaplain, and I say, give one of these to somebody who needs a boost, or give one of these to somebody who doesn't get any mail.
Sure.
And he was a case that somebody who, he was on the receiving. This is from a Staff Sergeant Denise Rodriguez. I know from the FPO, this is also in Africa. Thank you. Mr. Honan, just wanted to say thank you for the box of goodies you sent over. The chaplain's office was nice enough to share. I have only been here a few weeks, and this is my first deployment, so it means a lot to see that people care. Godspeed, Staff Sergeant Denise Rodriguez. So I'm assuming she's must be, you have Staff Sergeant in the Marines?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know if they always have different terms. And then this is from a William Abbott. I think I'm guesstimating this is from Afghanistan. Oh, this one here is actually from somebody who's over there, who his wife is over there too.
Wow.
I cannot thank you enough for the care package. My wife, the fellas, and I sure did enjoy it. I was personally a fan of the magazines on the bottom. Last month I sent the chaplain was handing out my packages, and he was handing it out with the battalion commander and the executive officer, who were both women.
Okay.
It's an artillery unit. I couldn't believe that the women were
Sure.
battalion commander. But still, that's
Sure.
life today. And so as the chaplain reaches in to get another magazine, because I send, what is it, Improper Bostonian and stuff, he reaches in, and it's a 50th anniversary special edition of Playboy. So I said,
Remember
all I
about
can hear
those and you sent
all
those?
I
I
can
said,
do-
I don't think you're supposed to send those to anybody.
No, I know, but all I can hear is my mother saying, my mother just passed away, she was 100, saying, "You sent the chaplain a Playboy."
He sent it to everybody over there.
No, no.
God.
He actually wrote me, and he wrote me back. He said, I couldn't. It would have been so embarrassing. They pull out this 50th anniversary Playboy in front of the female battalion commander and executive officer. He said I was able to just move it aside. But he told me later. He said he thought the package was destined for somebody else. It was destined for somebody in Afghanistan because it was addressed Dear Henry, and this chaplain's name was Chris. But anyway, so Henry in Afghanistan ended up with a box full of holy cards and rosary beads. Because a friend of mine, a woman down Rhode Island, Barbara Brugman, she refused to send me swimsuit issues.
Okay.
And so she said she's very religious.
Yes.
So she said, I said, well, send me some prayer cards and
Sure.
stuff. So this Henry must have got this box and said, what the heck is all this stuff? But then he must have read, Dear Chris, Chaplain Rice, hand out these prayer cards is where needed. So I said, I'd like to thank you for your service. I can't imagine the hardship faced in such a difficult conflict without the support of the American public upon your return home. I write big, long letters to them. The calendar remains my main source of information for birthdays, holidays, and my anniversary, but we can keep that as a... So I'm a photographer,
Sure.
so I produce calendars. So every one of my soldiers, Marines, sailors gets one of my calendars. Please let me know, let's see, when he returns in March 2015. He'd like to, if he could help. He began at cadet at Norwich University, let's see. I was commissioned a field artillery officer. My first assignment was Fort Bragg, where I was in the 18th Fires Brigade, 82nd Airborne Division. Unfortunately, I can't go into any detail about the location we are deployed out to my job details. I can tell you we are far from the front lines and dangers faced by the soldiers in Afghanistan. Upon my return from deployment, I'll be headed back to Fort Sill for the Captain's Career Course. Hopefully I'll be able to take command of a battery sometime in late 2015 and get stationed with my wife for the first time in the United States. God, I can't even fathom that anybody would be stationed with their wife. Thank you so much for the care package and the support you give to all deployed soldiers. Again, if there's anything I can do to help provide support to your organization, please let me know. See, he must have been... A lot of the people that I write to are your nephew, your brother-in-law, your niece. I don't know them personally, so I adopt them for the year or the 7 months that they're deployed. So now I send stuff to Okinawa, Japan. I have Marines there. South Korea, Turkey. We have a big Patriot missile.
Don't give out too much information.
I know. Yeah, I know. They sent me pictures
Yeah,
of all the batteries on the hills. I said, God, I don't know if you're supposed to do this. And Africa, Afghanistan. I've got an Army dive unit in Kuwait, Qatar, a ship in the Persian Gulf, and so I typically have around 20, 25 people that receive stuff. So every day when I wake up, pretty much every day, I write a letter.
Is that you?
Yeah, talk for a minute.
No, I'm not talking.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'll have to call you back, Christine. I'm doing a TV show. I'll call you right back. Anyway, so we got 5 minutes. So let's see. So what else are we going to talk? Oh, I got this flag that I got here. Did I ever show you this, Richard?
No, I don't think I saw that one.
This is from Jamie
thunder?
Bowers.
Is it
Yes,
thundering?
it definitely sounds
They
like
said
it.
it was
kidding.
going to be up your way, more up Lawrence.
I didn't know there was
north
gonna
of
rain.
Boston. This
Oh.
is from Sergeant Jamie Bowers, who was in Afghanistan. And so he got so many care packages from me. He used to just go around and distribute. In every place he went, everybody had the opportunity to sign. So he got this flag. He got my flag from Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And so he would go around and he would have people sign it.
Did you send that to him, or he just
No,
got one?
no,
So he got one?
no. He said, Rich, thank you for your support. First Lieutenant, I can't read it. P.S. all the way, 82nd Airborne. Right, Rich, thanks for your service and your support. Sergeant Stoner, Jason Stoner,
Wow.
20th Engineer Battalion. Thanks for the comics. Thanks for everything, brother. Ryan O'Connor. Thanks, Nick Smith. Thank you. Thank you for all you sent us. It was greatly appreciated. Tammy, thank you, Rich, for all you did for the 181st Engineer Company. Much appreciated. Sergeant Westgate. Yeah, and so then when he came home, he gave me this.
Oh, great.
So I'm gonna have to pack up all this stuff. I have all these shirts that people, all the units, they would sign stuff,
Absolutely.
and all these flags and these, and I'll have to put it away, and then someday it'll be on the Antique Roadshow.
Yeah, I know. I know. Too bad you can't do something with all those flags. That's the thing. All the ones that they give you in a folder, because those are nice.
Well,
it's a sin to just put them away. I myself think you should.
Oh no, we'll
fly
do
them or
something with them. Yeah, I can.
Really?
Most of them are small ones. They're 3
they
by
are.
5 foot. So they're not something you could really fly on top of a school or something.
Right, right.
But no, we'll find something to do with them. So what else is going on? So what are you up to tomorrow? What's on the agenda? Here it is, Monday.
Yes.
I have nothing on the agenda. Every day is Saturday
no.
for me now.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
We're
You're working tomorrow, though, aren't you?
Yes, 8 to 12.
Good deal. We are kind of winding down from our 4th of July week, in a sense, in preparing. Where really the next phase is focusing on September, which is Prisoner of War Month, remembering our missing in action.
Yeah.
Our 91,000 that are missing in action. These 2 black flags, that's
Yeah.
what they represent. Joe Detremont, who is with the Rolling Thunder.
Oh, yeah, I know
Chapter 1.
Joe, yeah.
We've met Joe a number of
We
times.
will be
actually.
talking. He's going to be dedicating his 100th chair this week, and there's a story coming out on Saturday with Channel 4, and we're going to be on live TV. He's going to be dedicating his 100th Prisoner of War chair of honor to Channel 4 in their studios, and he's doing it throughout New England and throughout Massachusetts, specifically at all the sporting stadiums.
Yeah.
And now the big focus is at every. The big focus now is at every city hall and town hall
Yeah,
to dedicate
yeah.
a chair of honor to remind patrons when they walk in there that 91,000
It is a good reminder.
men
Yeah, I
and
just
women
went to the one in Revere.
are there. Sure,
Just a
absolutely.
couple of weeks ago. Well, they're doing the one at the studio, Channel 4 studio?
Channel 4,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, that's
and
good,
so
too.
that'll be on live TV.
Have them
It'll
everywhere
be
now.
great.
Yeah.
And as it should. If you
Yeah.
imagine 91,000 men went out, left home, and
Yeah,
never
I
returned.
know, that's
and their
tough.
family
Yeah.
are still grieving
I
their
know.
loss.
That's
Yeah.
a tough one, actually.
Sure.
And let's see. I don't think I've never run out of stuff to say, but I am going to run out of stuff to say. No. And so listen. Then I'll just say that if anybody out there has a nephew, a niece, a brother, uncle, aunt serving overseas, Afghanistan, doesn't have to be in Afghanistan. I'm not going to send stuff to somebody who's in Fort Dix, New Jersey, but although maybe I should send something.
New Jersey.
But no, if they're serving overseas and some, far away from home, sometimes I write to somebody in Qatar, and then you talk to an active duty soldier and say, "Why are you sending some to Qatar? That's a R&R zone. Rest and relax." It's still awful being away from
Absolutely.
home.
Yeah, of course
it really is.
Even Kuwait. You say, well, Kuwait it's not a real war zone. It's still tough. So
Sure.
if you have a family member or a neighbor serving overseas, you contact me. I'll ask you a little information about them, and I'll adopt them for their entire deployment. I'll write them every month. I'll send them a care package every month. I'll put a smile on their face. I'll put a smile on their heart, and I'll put a smile on their stomach.
Wow,
And
that is
that's-
great. I'll tell you, Richard, as a recipient of our care package, it feels like Christmas.
Yeah.
To receive a care
it must
package
be nice
from a
when they
person
come
that
in.
you don't know, because if you're receiving it from a family member that tells you that they're sending it, you're expecting something. But this is unexpected.
Yeah.
And it's goodies that really remind you of the good US of A when
Yeah, all
you're
that
far
good
away
stuff.
from home.
We got to wrap it up. Oh.
Bye.
All right. We'll
Go
see you
on.
later.
Bye.
We'll see you later. See you next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you.